Good evening. I'm happy to welcome all of my fellow board members and call the May 11th, 2021 school board meeting to order. Pam, roll call, please.
Mrs. Belford?
Present.
Ms. McDougall?
Present.
Mrs. Jenkins?
Present.
Mr. Susan?
Present.
And Mrs. Campbell?
Present.
Please be reminded that school board meetings will be held in a manner consistent with other district meetings and activities. All attendees must wear a face mask covering the nose and mouth at all times when not more than 6 feet from the nearest person. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. We will now hold a moment of silent reflection in memory of 2 BPS family members who recently passed away. Ethan Thomas, an 11th grade student from Merritt Island High School and Brevard Virtual School, and Braylon Parker, a 6th grade student from Mims Elementary. We invite the viewing audience to join us. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, I would like to offer my fellow board members and Dr. Mullins the opportunity to recognize students, staff, or members of the community. Given the anticipated public speakers that we likely have tonight, I will just ask that we all try to keep it as short as possible, okay? Who would like to start us off tonight?
I can.
Ms. McDougall?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have 3 people I want to talk about. I went to Ogali High School and gave 2 impact elevated pins to 2 teachers, Dina Casablanca and also Betsy Larson, for what they do with our students in the BLAST program. It's amazing. And my last one is, I forgot, I was remiss last board meeting to let everyone know I gave Principal O'Leary an impact elevated pin too for what he's done to help another school. So I really appreciate all 3 of them and all of our teachers.
Thanks, Ms. McDougall. Ms. Campbell?
So over the last couple of weeks, our Junior Achievement Space Coast has held their Innovation Challenge for our students that they do every year. It was virtual this year, and we had teams from Mel High, from Bayside, and from Vieira, all of their business schools, and from Bayside, I think it was the engineering program, participate. And I wanted to announce the winners. The 3rd place team was Straw Strips from Vieira High School. Fantastic project. CJ Simons, Stevie Taylor, and Ariana Valdivieso, I think I'm saying that right. They won $1,000 for their team. And then there was a tie for 1st place, 2 Bayside teams. One of them was Food Safe, which I was just so proud of them because they actually came and competed last year. They took the feedback and they, just like we do with our Science Fair project, sometimes they take it to the next level. They reworked it, came back this year again, and then won. So their project Food Safe, that's Peter Gordon, Josue Francois, and Hannah Chester. And then the other tie was Word Blocker, also from Bayside, Maxine Weeks and Noelle Silvera. The 1st place teams win $3,000 in cash, a speaking opportunity at this summer's Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame event, a consultation with patent lawyer Mark Malik of Wiedemann Malik, a marketing session with Rock Paper Simple, and for each student, a $12,000 annual renewable scholarship to Florida Tech. Nice. So congratulations to those students. Wanted to give a shout out to Aaron Mitchell from Bayside, Jake Schweik from Mel High, and then David Fermanek from Vieira, the teachers who pushed those students. And of course, we're thankful for Junior Achievement for coordinating that. But congratulations to all those students on their recognition.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. Ms. Jenkins?
I'm good.
Mr. Susan?
I'm good.
I am going to share a quick one and then I'll pass it along to Dr. Mullins. Just want to give a shout out. You know, we're so blessed in Brevard County that so many of our community organizations really wrap their arms around our kids. And we have a church up in the North End, First St. Andrew's United Methodist, that is on a regular basis doing a hangout for our middle school students in the morning. They're very close to 2 of our schools. They've always been great supporters, but they have a tent out there. They have breakfast, snacks, and drinks and all kinds of stuff. And a lot of their team members hang out there and just chat with the students and provide them support if they need it. So just huge thanks to St. Andrews for all they have done for our schools and really for all those in our community that really step up and support our kids. We appreciate it immensely. Dr. Mullins?
Just a couple things. First, I'd like to recognize Anne Marie Zink, who is our performing arts resource teacher, and all of our art teachers and students and their amazing work. If you haven't had a chance to see their wonderful talents through our virtual school board art show, it is well worth the time. And just want to commend Ms. Zink for finding ways to overcome the challenges we have currently to continue our art show, and just commend our students for sharing their gifts and talents. That is just one teacher we recognize. As we know, last week was Teacher of the Week appreciation, and just want to again express my tremendous admiration for our teachers across Brevard and really across our great state for stepping up and being on the front lines from the very beginning to ensure our students could continue their learning. They have just done an exemplary job over these last many difficult months, and just commend them for their great dedication and devotion to our kids. And last week we celebrated our Partners in Education Awards, our PI business partners, and just congratulations to all of our businesses for their participation and their great partnership. Even in the midst of all of this uncertainty in their own businesses and, economic uncertainties and so on, they have remained faithful and devoted to being partners with our schools. And we are very blessed and fortunate to have over 500 business partners for Brevard Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mullins. That is going to bring us to the adoption of the agenda. Back to you, Dr. Mullins.
Ms. Belford and members of the board, on tonight's agenda, we have administrative staff recommendations, 14 consent items, 3 action items, and 6 information items. Changes made to the agenda since it was first released to the public on May 4th, 2021 are as follows. Items A7 on administrative staff recommendations, F9 on meeting minutes, and G24 on department school-initiated agreements received revisions.
What are the wishes of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Susan, seconded by, was that you, Ms. McDougall?
Yes.
Seconded by Ms. McDougall. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. And the motion passes 5-0. Dr. Mullins, will you please let us know about our administrative staff recommendations?
Yes, there is one person under this category for the board to consider.
What are the wishes of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Susan, seconded by Ms. Campbell. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. And the motion passes 5-0. We are now at public comments. If we have more speakers than seating inside the boardroom, hold on one second. Okay.
Ms. Belford,
Yes, sir.
can I make a motion that we move anybody who's not on the agenda, speaking to the agenda, to the end of the meeting, which is only a difference for everybody that knows of about 10 minutes. But what it allows is all the individuals that are part of just the agenda, including some people that are here for the contracts, to be able to go home so that we can then have you guys speak and not hold them up, if that's okay. I'd like to make that motion if that's okay.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Susan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion passes 5-0. Okay. Speakers are required to wear face masks covering the nose and mouth while walking to the microphones and when traveling back to his or her seats. As long as you maintain 6 feet from the nearest person, you may remove your mask while speaking, but please remember to wear your mask as you return to your seat. Hand sanitizer and sanitizing wipes are provided at the microphones. Speakers addressing agenda items will be heard first. All other speakers will be heard after that. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. We have a clock in front of me to help you keep track of your time. When your time is over, you will be asked to stop and allow the next speaker his or her turn. Always keep in mind that reasonable decorum is expected at all times, and your statement should be directed to the board chair. As chair, I may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement when time is up, it's personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Should an individual not observe proper etiquette, I may request the individual leave the meeting. Let's all encourage an environment appropriate for our children who may be present or are watching from home. Please note that board members will not have opportunity to respond to speakers during or immediately following public comments. I may, however, request that staff follow up with you post-meeting. Tonight, it appears that we have only one speaker addressing agenda items, so we will hear that speaker and then resume our business. Mr. Anthony Colucci, if you would please approach.
My name is Anthony Colucci. I'm the president of the Brevard Federation of Teachers. Tonight, I wanted to share a couple findings that were recently released regarding teacher pay for the 1920 school year. On May 7th, Business Insider published an article, "Here's how much every U.S. state pays its teachers and how much they spend on each student." In the article, which included the 50 states and D.C., Florida teacher pay ranked 50th. The National Education Association also released its findings and ranked Florida 49th out of 50 states and DC in average teacher salary. Now, while it's possible the boost in early career educators' pay this year will lead to some improvement in those rankings next year, these stats underscore what we all know to be true. Our veteran teachers are hurting financially and have been for a while. The facts show they are amongst the worst paid teachers in the country. With that said, as you prepare for budget and negotiations, my request is simple. Do not lose sight of the facts. As we seek salary increases next year, don't fall prey to those who would leave you to believe it's the greedy teachers union asking for more. The facts say otherwise. Florida and Brevard County are better than this. You must make veteran teacher compensation a priority in your budget. As always, please feel free to reach out to me to discuss further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Colucci. All right, that will move us into our consent agenda. Dr. Mullins?
There are 14 agenda items under the consent agenda.
Thank you. Does any board member wish to pull any item from the consent agenda this evening? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Susan, seconded by Ms. Campbell. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. And the motion passes 5-0. All right, we will now move on to our action agenda. Dr. Mullins,
The first item is G23 on procurement solicitations.
what are the wishes of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Susan, seconded by Ms. McDougall. Is there any discussion? Please vote. And the motion passes 5-0. Dr. Mullins,
Item G24 is on department school initiated agreements.
what are the wishes of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Susan, seconded by Ms. Jenkins. Is there any discussion? Please vote. And the motion passes 5-0. Dr. Mullins.
G25 is to hold a public hearing and approve the charter application for Florida High School for Accelerated Learning, Brevard.
Is there anyone here this evening who wishes to address the charter application for Florida High School for Accelerated Learning, Brevard? Is there anyone here this evening who wishes to address the charter application for Florida High School for Accelerated Learning, Brevard? What are the wishes of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Susan, seconded by Ms. Campbell. Any discussion? Please vote. The motion passes 5-0. We have 6 information items on this evening's agenda. No vote will be taken this evening on these items, but they may be brought back for action at a later time. Does any board member wish to discuss any of the information items this evening? Okay. We will now hear the remaining public speakers. The 3-minute time limit and expected decorum remains the same. Please remember your mask covering the nose and mouth while moving about the room. And I will say one additional thing. We have a few people here that are speaking to specific situations, and I would ask that you make sure that you are not naming names for individuals unless you are telling your own story, just to make sure that we're not putting out inaccurate information, okay? So certainly share with us what you'd like, but we don't want anyone else's personal information broadcast over television, okay? All right, our first...
Ms. Bell, just want everybody to know that's here in the audience that may not be part of the speakers, this is the last portion of it that you can leave now, and then Dr. Mullins, just being the fact that there's a lot of speakers, at any time you can release staff as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if the other board members want to give you that. This is just for us to discuss with the constituents, so it might be a good opportunity for us, if it does get long, to release our staff who are in the building waiting to hear from us on any of the agenda issues. That's all. I don't know how you feel, Dr. Mullins. You need a motion from us, or is that something you do?
Okay. So our first
You're good?
3 speakers are Cheryl. How many speakers do we have? We have 34.
Just an hour and a half.
Yeah. Not too bad. Any more questions before I call people up?
Nope.
Dr. Mullins, you're good on? Okay. All right, our first 3 speakers will be Cheryl Wojciechowski, Michelle Barano, and Tara German. Cheryl, if you would like to make your way to the microphone, please.
Good
Whenever
evening.
you're ready.
Okay. My name is Dr. Cheryl Wojciechowski. I'm the Chief Science Officer at J.E. Austin
Hold on
Associates.
just 1 second.
Okay.
Can
Can I get the
we-
3-second thing?
Yes, you will. You absolutely will. I just need to get your mic adjusted because we can't hear you. So if you can maybe try speaking a little closer and see if it's better.
Does this work?
That's better.
Or do the taller
Oh, okay, thank you. Does this work?
That's perfect. Thank
Okay,
you so
thank
much.
you.
I just want to make sure we could all hear you okay.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
My name is Dr. Cheryl Wojciechowski. I'm the Chief Science Officer at J.E. Austin Associates, and I also have 2 kids in the Brevard County school system. I'm here today to support masking in schools, at least until vaccines are available for school-aged children. I will present some scientific studies to support masking, hand washing, and social distancing. These policies are supported by data, research, and an army of scientists and doctors who promote these NPI, or non-pharmaceutical interventions to fight the spread of COVID-19. I'll start with a paper that demonstrates that children are not immune from this disease, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, April 9th, 2021, with authors from the CDC and the U.S. Public Health Service. Between October 2020 and March 2021, they found 20,714 COVID-19 cases in individuals 18 and under. Of these cases, 12% were treated in hospital. 31 of those treated in hospital had severe COVID-19. This was defined as needing a respiratory or the disease resulting in death. So, in addition to being able to transmit SARS-CoV, children are also susceptible. The Journal of Infection published an article entitled "The Role of Community-Wide Face Mask Wearing for Control of the COVID-19 Epidemic" by a consortium of scientists from Hong Kong in late April 2020. They noted that in their communities, they had achieved 97% mask compliance. For the time between 31st December 2019 and 8 April 2020, only 129 people per million tested positive for COVID-19. During that same period, in the non-masking societies in Spain, almost 3,000 per million, and in Italy, more than 2,000 per million tested positive. Also from the Public Library of Science, University of Texas published the article "Mask or No Mask for COVID-19, a Public Health and Market Study" on the 14th of April 2020. Quote, from their conclusions, wearing a mask presents a rational way to implement non-pharmaceutical intervention to combat COVID-19. They did caution that this does not replace social distancing and hand washing. Members of the school board, the fact remains that SARS-CoV is still infecting our children and families. The vaccination rate in Florida as of this morning was 33.2%. We are not protected. I implore you, based on data, to keep masking mandatory in Brevard schools until our children can be vaccinated. Don't leave us with no protection, especially with the emergence of variants. Remember, while the person wearing the mask is afforded some protection, they are mainly demonstrating respect for their peers and for their families by not transmitting the virus to society. This is according to a study at Duke University, published 2nd September 2020 in Science Advances. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cheryl. Michelle?
Hello, thank you very much.
Hi.
Thank you for the work you're doing and for holding the line on safety protocols during this once-in-a-lifetime international health crisis. Thank you for listening to the infectious disease experts and determining how best to keep our children safe while enabling them to learn and benefit from the public school system. I don't know anyone who enjoys wearing a mask. I certainly don't. I look forward to a time in the near future when they will be unnecessary. Unfortunately, we're not there yet, and we won't be there come August 10th when our students go back to the classroom. I'm here to urge you to continue to put the safety of our children first and foremost in determining how to move forward with the next school year. The reasons to remove the mask mandate are primarily political reasons or reasons of convenience and comfort. However, those reasons don't stand up in the face of an airborne, highly contagious virus that could create a dangerous situation in our classrooms. COVID is real, and it is still here. Because of public education is so important, we must proceed with public schooling in person in a way that minimizes the potential danger. The way to do that, according to guidance from the CDC and our own 8 months of experience, is to employ basic protective measures, specifically having everyone who can wear a mask do so, and by keeping some distance and hand washing. Nothing has happened to change this equation. The vaccines that are helping adults unmask and get back to normal are not yet available for our youngest school-age children. Why then would we suddenly behave differently? COVID hasn't gone away, so why should we remove the only measure keeping our kids safe? Until there's a vaccine available for every child in public school that wants one, it makes absolutely no sense to remove the mask mandate. The political and comfort reasons just don't hold up in the face of risking the public health. This school board is not tasked with defending personal liberty. It is not tasked with ensuring that all our children are very comfortable. If they were, I can assure you my daughter would not be wearing shoes in school, and she would attend every day in her pajamas. In school, as in many other public places, the public good must supersede the desires of the individual. The school board policy currently requires immunizations against 10 diseases. A reading from the policy manual, Section 5320 says, in order to safeguard the school community from the spread of certain communicable diseases, students are required to undergo a health examination, be immunized. The argument that anyone who doesn't want to attend a school without masks can stay at home works much better in reverse. The school board can provide the safest, least risky environment it can for public learning, and anyone who doesn't want to follow the rules can enjoy all the personal liberty they want in their private home. The government has a long history of protecting the safety of the public at the cost of personal liberties when in public. You can't yell fire in a crowded public space. You can't smoke in a public indoor area. You must wear a seatbelt when driving or riding on public roads. I urge you to hold the line, and I thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Michelle. Tara German is our next speaker, and as Tara's approaching, the next three speakers after her would be Damian German, Charlie Graham, and then Jody Han.
Hi, my name is Tara Germain. I'm here to request the board reinstate Jeff Angermeyer and David.
I'm going to stop you for just a second, okay? I need for you to not mention names, okay? Because you're putting their information out there in the public, and it's not yours to share. So you can reference coaches, you can reference situation. If you would just leave their names out of it, we would appreciate it, okay?
Okay. To their teaching and coaching positions at Edgewood Junior Senior High School. My daughter Aubrey is a 7th grader. She's a quiet, unassuming young girl in a new school. She would have finished the year virtually invisible, but these two gentlemen gave Aubrey great self-confidence and a sense of belonging in the Edgewood community. They did this by showing great confidence in Aubrey and inspiring her to leave her comfort zone. This led to a girl who had never played organized basketball to actually making several appearances in varsity games. This never would have happened without the selfless and tireless work of these two coaches. When we asked Aubrey who she would go to if she was in crisis, whether physical or emotional, she immediately answered, these two coaches. I would like to know who the final decision maker is who removed these two gentlemen without any apparent objective investigation that appears to be based on one person's complaint. I would like that name so I can file my own individual complaint and have them removed based on just what I say when my daughter has no one in authority to turn to in crisis. I'm sure your response would be, Aubrey can turn to any of the teachers or administrators at Edgewood. But they have all had an entire year to build such a relationship with Aubrey and have failed to do so. In Edgewood's school improvement plan, under rationale for evidence-based strategy, it states, in the 5 powers of an educator, the author describes how poverty is the absence of positive relationships. Students need these meaningful relationships to feel valued, to succeed in school. When students feel that teachers are genuine, deeply care about them, and desire for them to succeed, they are more likely to be successful. Last month, these coaches inspired 20+ students to mobilize and assist the volunteer effort at Endeavor Elementary School in Cocoa, a Title I school. That does not happen without teachers and coaches making precisely the connection you are asking for. These coaches are living exactly what Edgewood aspires to be. Isn't it the board's job to put the students first? Please reinstate these coaches.
Thanks, Tara. Damian?
Good evening. My name is Damian Germain. My daughter Aubrey attends Edgewood. I'm here to request the board reinstate these two coaches. We all know their names. I'm retired from the military, from law enforcement, and I'm a certified professional educator here in Florida. In all 3 capacities, I've been involved in disciplinary actions, ranging from verbal counselings to termination, and I've sat on both sides of the table. From everything we have been able to determine, the investigation leading to this decision was inadequate and completely one-sided. If all the charges stem from the girls' basketball banquet, as we've been told, it's imperative the school administration and the district conduct a comprehensive investigation to include interviews with at least some of the parents that attended the banquet. To date, we have been unable to identify any parents who were interviewed. We were told by Ms. Ingrata the removal was based on violations of BPS policies 3210, 3213, and 3214, ethical conduct, student supervision, and welfare, and gifts. I heard Coach Blumenthal voice sincere disappointment that no administration personnel made it to either the banquet or to senior night. I saw both coaches award awesome Indian bobblehead trophies to memorialize their players' outstanding performances and the retiring of our school's mascot. I did not see either coach accept any gift with a value in excess of $50. In all my experience in disciplinary actions, The objective was to uphold the organization's standards while also acting in the best interest of the organization. What can never be allowed to invade such an action is hubris, pride, and ego. They will delegitimize disciplinary actions. I have read through all three policies several times and cannot find any words or actions on the part of either coach that rises to the level of removal. To me, that means hubris, pride, and ego have most likely played a part in the decision, and it is certainly not in the best interest of the organization. That organization being the students at Edgewood. That's the organization we're concerned with, and it does not serve their best interests. In an environment where it is difficult enough to find any coaches or teachers, let alone excellent ones, this decision is completely counterproductive, and it does not serve every Edgewood student with excellence as a standard. Please revisit and overturn the decision and reinstate coaches Angemeyer and
Sir,
Blumenthal.
please not the names.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Charlie Graham.
Board, can you hear? Was I close enough? There we go. Board. First, I want to congratulate you on successfully navigating the last year plus of the COVID pandemic with strength, compassion, for the most part, relying on science. Thank you. Hopefully now we're entering into the final chapters of this pandemic, and your decisions will once again determine our success or lack thereof. I'm sure you will hear passionate testimony tonight, ranging from wearing a mask will kill you to not wearing a mask is a death sentence. The truth, of course, lies somewhere in the middle. However, arguing and debating about masks is foolish. The only true solution is vaccination. A mask is like a prophylactic. It sure is better than nothing, but it still might only be 70% effective. I urge this board to place your collective energy, determination, and brain power getting Brevard children vaccinated. As you know, the Pfizer vaccine has now been approved for children 12 years and up. There is no reason why middle school and high school students should not be required or requested to add the COVID vaccination to the current mumps, measles, and rubella vaccines for the fall semester.
Sir, stop for
How
one
can we
moment, please.
facilitate making it
Charlie,
easier?
give me just 1 second, okay? You're fine. For our audience members, it is not appropriate for you to be shouting out while someone else is speaking. We will give you all the same respect when it's your turn to speak, but please do not shout out while other people are speaking. It's rude. Enough, sir. Enough. Enough, please. I apologize, Charlie, for the rudeness. I'm going to go ahead and start your clock, okay?
Okay. How we facilitate making it easier for students, or how do we facilitate to accomplish that goal? During the last week of school, there is time to host COVID inoculation events at the end of the day for some, if not all, middle and secondary schools, with the assistance of the Brevard Health Department and other providers. And without a doubt, the same could be done during registration. Here is your gym lock. Here is your life-saving COVID vaccine. To entice these students, I would be willing to spearhead getting ice cream shops to donate a single cone for each student that gets a shot.
You know what? Kick them out.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Moose, Dairy Queen, Del's Freeze, Baskin Robbins, etc. Elementary children will probably have to wait till the fall, but by spring semester, it looks good that they will be eligible too. So, if we all work together, we can give the COVID-19 virus a vasectomy and cut off its ills. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Jody Hand?
Hi.
Hi.
Wow. A little nerve-wracking. Hi.
Take a deep breath, take your time.
Everyone, get out of our town. Get off our board.
Thanks for your patience, Jody.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I appreciate your patience, and I apologize.
No need for you to apologize for somebody else's ridiculous action. Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Dear Brevard Public School Board members and superintendent, thank you for your time today. As you can tell by my shirt, I'm a freedom-loving mama doing her best to teach her kids to fight for what they believe in, but to fight respectfully and with intention. Am I angry that I feel the school board has overstepped its authority by ignoring both the Department of Health and the governor's recommendations? Absolutely. Do I feel like the nonpartisan board has turned our schools into a political football? Possibly. Am I disgusted to see board members working for one segment of our student population without regard for the many others? 100%. But I understand that you are all people. You are all people just like me, complete with human emotions and human reactions. However, we hired you to fight for all the children. Masks, it's a simple request, make them optional. No one is asking you to take them away. We are simply asking for them to become optional. If we are rewarding students with mask breaks during the day, then why are we wearing them at all? Does COVID understand the difference? I don't think so. If some of the kids have to wear the mask inside while seated at their desks and some do not, I have twins. This applies to them. Why are we wearing them at all? Does COVID know the difference? I don't think so. If the BPS policy clearly states that masks for K through second grade are optional, why do we have kids in those grades in some schools being singled out by their teachers for not wearing one? I'll tell you why. This policy has run its course and it's time for it to end. Take these disgusting snot-filled masks off my third graders now. There is no longer a local health crisis. The Department of Health, whom you have referred to as a decision influencer, has even told you so. The governor has told you so. Commissioner Corcoran of the Florida Department of Education has told you so. Please stop abusing your power and vote to end this mask mandate now. LGBTQ+ guidelines. Question: why are the LGBTQ+ students more important than the students who are not? Why do they need a special set of guidelines? Wasn't the point not to point out differences, but to embrace them? I don't care if your kid wants to identify as a different gender than the one they were born with until it infringes on the rights of my children. My daughter has the right to go to the public bathroom in a public school and not see a part of the male genitalia when she enters. My sons have a right to walk into the boys' bathroom and not see a biological girl there that might later point a finger at him or accuse him of something inappropriate while in there. My athletic daughter deserves the opportunity to participate in girls' sports without a biological male that is scientifically proven stronger, taking away her chances at victory. It's very simple. We don't need separate guidelines for separate
Jody,
students.
hold on just one second, okay? I'm going to ask again. We can't even hear what she's saying because of the noise that's coming from the audience. Please respect the rules of decorum in the board meeting. If you're not willing to respect the rules of decorum in the board meeting, then please choose to go elsewhere so that we can hear the speakers who have come to share their thoughts with us, okay? I'm sorry, Jody, go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. We don't need separate guidelines for separate students. That's called discrimination. Finally, please stop abusing your power or this great public school institution will be forever changed. Teachers and parents used to work together as a team, but we've made that impossible this year, and we fear for next year as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jody. Thanks for your patience. All right, our next three speakers are going to be Christine Connor, Ashley Janer, and Liz Brookshire. Christine?
Good evening. My name is Christiane Connor. I have two children, a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Christy, I'm going to interrupt you for just a second. If you can just get closer to that mic for me. I
Sorry.
just want to make sure everybody can hear. Thank
I do
you.
have a voice that carries, but I am here today to request that you amend your mask policy to reflect the current recommendations by our education commissioner and our governor that masks be a choice and not a mandate. After a year of living with this virus, we now have data illustrating what many moms and many medical professionals have known all along, namely that masks are not only ineffective, the particles are too small in this virus, but they are also harmful. I don't need a doctor or a study to tell me masks are bad, though I have read every study available. I'm a mom with an internal sense of what is right and good for my children. My kids tell me they struggle with headaches by the end of the day. Masks decrease oxygen levels. I see the social barrier masks create between children and the difficulty it creates as children try to learn to communicate to adults. This is a recent Stanford study that was posted on the National Center for Biotechnological Information government website. The NCBI is a branch of the National Institutes of Health. I brought several copies if you'd like them. This is only one study of many illustrating the challenges masks create for children. Doctors Jay Bhattacharya and Scott Atlas from Stanford University have both publicly advised against mandating masks for children for all of the same reasons cited in this and other studies. I brought their CVs, which are impressive. I typically like to go to doctors that are the best versus just whomever's down the street. This board seems to place more value on the opinion of an unelected government official out of Tallahassee who recommends continuing to restrict children from breathing freely, despite scientific facts. This bureaucrat even had the audacity to suggest this abuse to children will cease only when children are administered an experimental gene therapy not fully approved by the FDA, but authorized under emergency use for a virus which children are at almost no risk of suffering from. I have studies illustrating children are among 2%. There is no way of knowing what the long-term effects of this will be. We have not had enough time. This man is willing to gamble with the lives of healthy children. Where are we going? If you claim that health and safety of our children in this community is your top priority, where's your mandate that the obese be on a weight loss program? Will you be mandating a specific diet for teachers and children whose BMI are deemed too high? It is a fact that those who suffer from obesity are at a greater risk of getting and transmitting COVID. Where would this absurdity
We
end?
appreciate you joining us this evening. Have a great night. Ashley Janer.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Ashley Joyner. I'm here against the mask. And guilty before proven innocent is no more tyrannical than sick before proven healthy. We are asking for you to make the mask optional for our children, as we believe they are being mentally and/or physically damaged from these, and we know our children better than any of you sitting behind the desk. I will stand and fight for someone's right to wear a mask, just as I am standing now for the right for my child to have that choice not to wear one. But their rights are no greater than my child's rights. The CDC has provided the experimental vaccination for the age groups that are most vulnerable, and by now, if someone wanted the vaccine, they can get it. Or if they haven't yet, they can still wear their mask. There's so much mixed information out there on the mask and the vaccination that we should be able to do the research for ourselves and discern based on our beliefs and how it's affecting our children individually. Even the CDC experts are providing contradictory information. Slowly, our parental rights and to make decisions for our children have been stripped away, and it's showing in our society. I've been following from afar for a while and have now decided that enough is enough. I am not alone. Our movement is growing stronger, and I'm sure most of you, if not all of you by now, have seen what is happening in the other school districts across the country. Just be aware before long it could be knocking on that door. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. All right, Liz Brookshire, and then we are actually going to take a short recess, and then we will reconvene with public speaking, okay? Liz, whenever you're ready.
Hi, my name is Liz Brookshire, and I'm the mom of 3 children, ages 21, 14, and 2. As you can see by the ages of my children, I have been and will be a parent in North Brevard schools for years and many years to come. I am here to talk about the mask mandate that you all have implemented into the schools. I understand that there are parents on both sides of the debate. I am on the side of taking them off. I understand that parents want them some want them, some don't. Because I feel I have seen firsthand damage these masks are doing to our kids. My 14-year-old son that attends Titusville High School is an athlete and has not had to use breathing treatments, inhalers for 9 years. Over the past year, he is back on inhalers and breathing treatment, constant sinus issues, infections, headaches. Masks should be like the vaccine, a personal choice. Misty, I don't know if you remember me, but when you were the PTO president at Oak Park, I was the PTO president at Imperial States. Our combined boards would meet monthly to work together for our kids. What has happened to what's best for the kids? To quote a board member's favorite sayings, I'm confused by how the board went from being for the kids to playing politics with our kids' lives. I'm confused how you all are voted in by parents in your districts to be our voices, but instead turn this board into a dictatorship. Enough is enough. What is it going to take for you all to listen to us? A student on a campus to die? Get the mask mandate on the agenda, remove it as part of the dress code, and remove it from the schools. Put it back in the hands of the parents to choose to mask or not to mask. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. All right, at this time, we're going to take about a 5-minute recess. We'll come back and finish up with the rest of the speakers as quickly as we can, okay? All right, we are back in session and resuming our public comment period. Please remember that all previous rules do apply. Our next three speakers are going to be Nick Sicoli, Lou Schaefer, and then Jordan Johnson. Nick?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, but hold on one second and let Dr. Mullins assist with raising that mic for you so you don't have to stand that way the whole time.
I am a little tall.
You are. Vertically gifted, we'll call it. How's
Yeah,
that?
that'll work.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
Hi, my name is Nick Sicoli. I'm currently a senior at Edgewood Junior Senior High, and I've been a part of the lacrosse program for 4 years. When I was informed that my lacrosse coach would not be returning next year, I was surprised and disappointed. Coach has been a positive influence on the entirety of the boys lacrosse team, and I can't imagine a world where he is not leading that program. Over my 4 years, I have watched Coach mold these boys not only into better players, but into better men. He has taught us all how to work hard and do so with honesty and integrity. He has offered mentorship that has included advice on everything from sports to academics to life in general. Words of wisdom and motivation that are crucial during high school. His mentorship to the men that are a part of this program can be seen with every player who came here today. As I reflect on my time in the program, I look at my teammates, who will become better men than I ever would have expected because of Coach's influence. He doesn't care if we win, all he wants is for us to learn and grow from our mistakes. Every player cares about each other, and the relationships that have been formed in these past years cannot go unnoticed. As a senior, I unfortunately will not be able to stay with the program in sport. However, as I embark on this next chapter of my life, I thank Coach for everything he has done to get me to this point. I am so grateful for the relationship I've developed with Coach. His guidance and mentorship is a big reason as to why I've decided to enlist in the Air National Guard. I truly believe that Coach has helped to create some of the best men I've had the pleasure of meeting and being friends with. I feel confident that my fellow seniors and I will be able to excel in the next chapter of our lives because of all the good moral values Coach has instilled in us. As I previously mentioned, I am disappointed by the decision to remove Coach. I believe this decision is misguided and at the detriment of this spectacular group of men, along with every student who will ever walk through his classroom and players who will become a part of the lacrosse program. Regardless of the decision after this meeting, I know Coach will never truly be gone as the values he instilled into these men will last a lifetime. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Lou Schaefer? Lou Schaefer? Jordan Johnson? And after Jordan, then it'll be Julie Bywater. Hey, Jordan.
A little too tall there. Hello, my name is Jordan Johnson, and for months I have attended these meetings repeatedly alongside many other parents. We have missed dinner time, practices, bedtime tuck-ins, and we have just been asking for metrics on when COVID policies can be rolled back, specifically quarantines and masks, to no avail. Tonight I am actually missing work, foregoing income for my family to come here again. And it really feels pointless, but here I am. I have been told enough is enough. We shouldn't be talking about this anymore. But here we are, still talking about the unnecessary mandatory masking of our children. We have presented scientific articles. Well, something must be wrong with those articles.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened there.
It's okay.
Give me 1 second. I promise I didn't do that on purpose, Jordan. I know you're going to think I did, but I swear I didn't.
Okay. It's all right. It's all right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we've presented scientific articles. Something must be wrong with those articles. Those don't count. Not enough. We've told stories of how the masks are affecting our children's mental health, presented pictures of rashes and infections. You bring in health experts, not pediatricians, and ask, do masks have adverse effects on these kids? No, absolutely not. Okay, our personal accounts, not enough. The governor holds a roundtable with doctors stating that masks have unintended negative impacts on our children. Not enough. The Commissioner of Education says the data shows us, quote, the data shows us that districts' face covering policies do not impact the spread of the virus, and it further goes on to say that they serve no remaining good at this point in our schools. Still not enough. I sat and listened as children and parents pleaded to be allowed to sing indoors in school with masks. Sorry, kids, the Department of Health said it wasn't advised back in July 2020, so no singing for you. A child then passes out and has a seizure while singing outdoors at a concert, and is taken away by ambulance, couldn't have been the mask though. Nope, that's not enough. The governor issues an executive order saying that city and county governments end any COVID restrictions and continue business as usual. That doesn't apply to schools though. Nope, not enough. So my question to you all is, when will enough be enough? What will it take for masks to be made optional for our children? It has been said many times how difficult this must be for you all to decide. And I'd like to suggest that the reason why it is so hard is that it is not your choice to make. It's mine. I decide. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan. All right, Julie Bywater, and as Julie approaches, our next three speakers will be Wyatt Beavers, Tanya Beavers, and then Megan Wright. Hi, Julie.
Hi. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. I would like to address the masking issue. Regardless of where an individual stands on this issue, we, as the adults, should admit that the current rules in place are not working. This is not a condemnation of any person or group. It is really just the reality of us all being human. The current masking policy is not consistent. I have a 7th grader and an 8th grader at the same school. They're twins. Completely different experiences. The 7th grader doesn't feel at all affected by the policy because he does not have the requirement by his teachers to wear the mask at his desk. He only has to wear that mask in the hallways between classes. My 8th grader has an entirely different miserable experience. Masking while at her desk is mandatory. She's not encouraged to pull her mask down to have a drink. The only break she has is when she is actively eating at lunch. I'm confused by this. When I go to the office to pick up my child for an appointment, the staff often has their mask pulled down below their nose and often off their face entirely. I have no issue with this personally. They're 6 feet from each other. However, if our children are required to mask at all times, then our staff and teachers should be setting the examples at all times as well. These students get scolded for not wearing their mask properly, while their adults in their presence are living by a different set of rules. Last week, I was observing a school where children were outside at recess. The children were running around on a warm day with masks on, while their teachers supervising them had theirs off. What kind of message are we sending to our children in that type of environment? Our children are watching. They're seeing the inconsistency in the rules. What exactly is the difference between sports and recess? No masks for sports, but masks for recess. No masks for the football team, but masks on our cheerleaders outside, socially distanced, well spaced from fans and each other. Masks on band students outside, masks on choir students outside, but not sports teams outside in close contact. I'm confused, and our children are watching. We can go to crowded restaurants, spend time in a crowded environment maskless, but a child sitting at a desk somewhere somehow is more risk and more at risk. Our children are watching. There are plenty of stores that don't require masks. It's a patron's choice, and yet children have to wear masks at school. The policy is not consistent. Take a look at social media and the comments on these mask issues. If you think your children aren't reading them, you're not paying attention. They are. Our children are watching. They're reading the name calling on both sides, the lack of decorum on all sides. We try to teach our children to debate with respect and that their argument is weakened by emotional responses and name calling. But then groups are holding signs and people are calling out to them with rude names and holding up one-finger salutes. These kids are watching. Others choose to go to a private residence and be disrespectful. It's completely wrong, and our children are watching.
Thank you, Julie. We appreciate you joining us this evening. Wyatt Beavers. Wyatt?
Hello, I'm Wyatt Beavers. I'm an e-learner. To start off, masks aren't that effective to begin with. Air leaks out the top and the sides, and that air isn't being filtered. The only masks that truly are effective for COVID-19 are masks that are airtight and have an N95 rating, which isn't fully 100% effective. I tried one of these masks to go to the store during quarantine, and by the time I was at the end, I was loopy and seeing spots in my vision because I was oxygen deprived. The Department of Education reviewed data across the state and did not find a correlation between mask mandates and the presence of COVID-19 in schools. The CDC has also recently said that masks are not effective. Prior to recently, they've said that masks are effective. This shows that the CDC hasn't been giving consistent data throughout the years, or throughout our time dealing with COVID-19.
Great job, Wyatt. Thank you. Tanya?
Hi, my name is Tanya Beavers. I'm an e-learner at Vieira Charter School. I hope you make the decision soon to lift the mask mandate next year, because if you don't, I can't attend class. My family has a genetic heart condition and a drop of oxygen levels, which occurs when wearing a mask can set off my condition and be fatal. My brother passed away as a teenager from this condition. My dad has a defibrillator, my sister has a defibrillator, and when I get older, I'll probably get one. As an e-learner, the teachers often face their camera towards the class, and I can see the majority pulling up their masks, putting them below their nose, and in general, just playing with them. And stopping when the teachers look. The school has consistently said that I could wear a face shield, but that would make me stand out heavily and cause anxiety, and I'm worried about bullying if I was to wear one. When you wear a face mask, you can feel the hot air expelling from its tops and sides of your mask. It's extremely obvious that that air is not getting filtered. That, combined with the fact that many of the students are young children, 8, 9, 10, or 11, like me, and unconsciously want to breathe better and pull their masks down, make masks virtually useless. In conclusion, healthy children are not getting severely sick or dying from COVID-19. So please lift the mask mandate before students like me are forced to make other plans for the school year next year.
Thank you, Tanya. All right, as Megan's approaching, our next three will be Ashley Hall, Matthew Moran, and Kim Leatherman. Megan?
In between the
Oh.
two of these, so.
Dr. Mullins to the rescue.
Good evening. My name is Megan Wright, and I have two children that attend Brevard County Public Schools. I am here tonight to ask for you guys to please put on the agenda the face mask policy to address this so that we parents know before next school year what the policy will be. Up until 2 weeks ago, face masks were an inconvenience for me, but they were not something that I was fearful of being a health concern. 2 weeks ago, I got to witness, honestly, one of the most horrific nights I've ever seen. I attended a concert at Space Coast Middle School where a student dropped. She passed out from having a face mask while singing outside. I've highlighted how far we got through that program just so you guys can see. We didn't make it a fourth of the way through the program before this child dropped to the ground and went into a heavy seizure. 2-minute long seizure, with her mom frantically screaming and crying and trying to perform CPR on her daughter and could not do anything. And I cannot help but think, why? We were outside. These kids were outside. Why do they need a face mask on to sing outside? This board said that they would look at this policy and that they would revise this policy to let our children sing inside. I know that your thoughts on this is that the face mask didn't contribute to this matter, and that's probably what you have to tell yourself to be able to sleep at night. But on the other end of that, we cannot say that the face mask definitely did not contribute to this situation. So I want to remind you of a couple things. So this is in the Florida Department of Education's Code of Ethics that all employees are to adhere to. Conduct regarding students, as set forth in the Principles of Professional Conduct for the Education Profession in Florida. Each employee shall make reasonable effort to protect the student from conditions harmful to learning and or the student's mental and or physical health and or safety. Number 2, not unreasonably restrain a student from independent action in pursuit of learning. Number 3, not unreasonably deny a student access to a diverse point of view. Number 4, not intentionally suppress or distort subject matters relevant to a student's academic program. Your policies in place right now directly violate these code of ethics. It is time to unmask our children. It is time to put this on the agenda and move past this. Thank you.
Thanks, Megan. Ashley?
Hello, members of the board. My name is Ashley Hall. I'm the Moms for Liberty Brevard Chair. We had 85 protesters outside today with signs holding signs saying unmask our children. The fact of the matter is, you all have the power to put this on the agenda. Somebody, one of you, could motion to add this to the agenda tonight. Our parents need to know what is happening for next year. Why are we waiting on this decision alone? We have told you, we were here last meeting, we asked you to end the mask mandate. Well, we've been asking for that for a very long time. You've given us nothing. So why don't you motion to put it on the agenda tonight and tell these parents what you are going to do for next school year? Because it's that simple. The superintendent can tell us tonight, or all of you could vote on it tonight. We need a 3-2 vote to to end these mask mandates for next year. That way, our parents can tell their children what they're going to do next school year. They can take the money that they have placed on our children because they just signed a bill into legislation today saying we can take our money where we need to go to school. So if we're not going to stay in Brevard County schools, we want to know what that decision is going to be tonight. So please, do right by these parents that have come out here for every meeting, that stood outside on that road, that have emailed, that have called, that have done everything to get an answer from all of you as to what is happening with this mask mandate for next year. We are tired of waiting. We are tired of telling you over and over and over again that our children are not happy. They're depressed. They have anxiety. They have respiratory issues. They have all these issues, and we don't matter. You are telling us by your inaction that we do not matter, our children do not matter, and this is the problem. So please, please take some sort of action. I am done being nice about it. I want you to do something. So please.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let her finish without interrupting.
Please, we elected you to represent us, the people. We are telling you we want a decision. If it's going to be mask mandates for next year, so be it, but tell us.
Thanks, Ashley. Matthew Moran?
That one right there works.
Yeah, either one. Whatever works for you.
There we go. Okay. Good evening. My name is Matthew Moran, and I'm a junior at Edgewood Junior Senior High School, and a 3-year captain of the boys lacrosse team. The Edgewood coach has been my coach for 5 seasons at Edgewood, and I'm standing here tonight in support of him. As a coach, leader, and mentor, Coach has always been fair, conducted himself in a professional manner, and has guided our team with his heart. Not once have I ever questioned his character or integrity as a coach. He has taught our team to work together, to support each other, and to look out for each other, because that's what a team does. Personally, Coach has been patient with me as I learned my role as a captain, and he has proven to be a valuable sounding board when I have been faced with tough decisions, and he respects me as a student athlete. He believes in open communication, honesty, and accountability. I believe in the same open communication, honesty, and accountability. As my school board, I urge you to look into the situation surrounding Coach and the girls lacrosse coach. Is it simply the result of hasty decision-making? Were all the appropriate questions asked? Were all parties involved interviewed? Was this a unilateral decision or merely a strategy to quiet a difficult parent? I would hate to think that Edgewood is missing out on the opportunity to retain 2 valuable coaches without first doing their due diligence. Please reinstate our coaches. Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew. As Kim approaches, our next three speakers after Kim will be Sawyer McKinley, Kyle McKinley, and then Danica Schmodke. I'm sorry if I butchered the name, Danica Schmodke. Kim?
Good evening to the board. Can you hear me okay? I just want to say a great job by our students, our lacrosse players. They did an outstanding job speaking tonight for our lacrosse coach. My name is Kim Leatherman. I'm a parent of a student at Edgewood and a graduate of Edgewood Junior Senior High School, and I'm the program administrator for Edgewood Lacrosse. I speak to you tonight in reinstating the teaching contract of our lacrosse coach and the lacrosse and basketball coaching contracts for our assistant girls coach and our head boys coach. Our boys lacrosse coach, he's been instrumental in bringing the play-to-pay sport of lacrosse to Edgewood for over 8 years. I've been there from the beginning as I had a student in 7th grade at the time, and he played all the way till 12th grade and became captain. Our coaches, lacrosse coach's passion has been passed down to the players while he teaches them team first, discipline, responsibility, respect on and off the field. Edgewood Junior Senior High School prides itself on teachers and staff personally knowing the students beyond the classroom, and our lacrosse coach has certainly done an outstanding job of that. Our coach's dedication of endless hours spent on coaching the boys lacrosse and basketball have been selfless and greatly appreciated. I've personally worked with this coach for 3 years in the administrative capacity of lacrosse, and has only seen professionalism and a desire for a successful lacrosse and basketball program from him. Thank you for your consideration in reinstating these coaches, his teaching contract, and our community coaches coaching contract. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Kim. Sawyer? Might need some mic assistance, Dr. Mullins.
My name is Sawyer, and when I go to soccer, and none of my friends on my soccer team, none of us wear masks, and we're always like running around next to each other. And when I'm in school, me and my friends hardly ever wear masks. And when I used to wear a mask, I had anxiety and I got in trouble a lot. But then my dad wrote a note to the school, and then I didn't have to wear a mask anymore. And I didn't get into trouble that much. And I didn't have anxiety, and I felt a lot better. And since I haven't been wearing masks, sometimes I hear rude things said to me. And some of the kids in my grade 8 are like, "Where's your mask?" I'm like, "I don't wear one." And in art, my art teacher, she like forces everybody to wear a mask, and I don't wear a mask. And she makes me be like 6 feet at all times and stuff. And one time I hardly even touched my chin, and she said, "Go wash your hands." I was like, what the heck? Come on.
Thank you, Sawyer. Great job. You must be Kyle.
Yes, ma'am. I am Kyle.
Yeah.
All right. My name's Kyle, and I'm a grateful recovered alcoholic. And I'm getting emails from the Moms for Liberty, and I don't know how much more evidence they need to present as far as all the facts and everything that they said, but I think I just want to stand here and speak up for the people who are probably too scared or too afraid to stand up. Maybe one, because they're not willing to admit that they have a problem as far as drugs or alcohol may be concerned. But I know that it's prevalent in high school, and I don't think what you're doing with the mask is beneficial to someone's mental well-being, especially someone who is still using or abusing substances. I'm fortunate enough to be a part of the recovery part of this now, and I know that it is still out there, and I know that there is still so much stress and anxiety that goes with that, that releasing the mandate on masks is going to free up a lot of people to have a more healthier, larger environment, to not have to deal with the added stress of that. And you just heard from an 8-year-old kid who is dealing with anxiety because of this. And they say this disease is hereditary, so I don't doubt that he has some of this in him. And I'm going to stand up for him now, today, to set an example for him of what I'm going to do is what's best for him. So I don't care if there's one person that stands here or 1,000 that said that they're going to force a mask on him or force a vaccine on him. It's never going to happen. And I think that every one of these women that show up for Moms for Liberty, they have a husband that supports them. They have all their friends that support him. And just because you see 100 people here doesn't mean there's not 400,000 out there that don't feel the same way. And I think the longer that you wait to make a decision, the longer that your indecision is shown as you guys as a board, the more pressure and the more strength that they're going to have. You guys have been waiting and waiting to make a decision, and they've said and stated how many people above you say to get rid of the mandate, and yet you're here waiting, waiting, waiting. And I'm not sure about this fact, but earlier I was out there talking to some of these people, and they said that the average salary that you guys collect with your position is pretty minimal. And I'm led to think if you're doing this job, it's either for self-interest or it's for what's best for the kids. And if you can hear from an 8-year-old and you can hear from all these other parents and you can hear from all these other kids, what's best for the kids is getting rid of the mask and making it a choice, because it's a collective decision. Each person should have a choice of what they're going to do for their children, and not you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kyle. As Danica approaches, our next 3 speakers will be Linda Hall, Thomas Jefferson, and Alex Wybush.
Hi, my name is Danica Schmadeke, and I'm in 8th grade at Edgewood. I had both coaches as basketball coaches this year, and one as my algebra teacher. Both coaches knew how to help our whole team in a constructive manner that allowed us all to improve a lot over the season. We went from only having one experienced player to becoming only the 2nd middle school girls basketball team in Edgewood history to make it to the playoffs. Personally, both coaches helped me grow in a sport that I had never played before to becoming an important player for the team. Both coaches showed their dedication to the program by showing up for early morning practices every day of the week, and sometimes they even held open gyms on the weekends. One coach videotaped all of our games so that he could take time out of his busy schedule to review with each player what we did well and what we would need to improve on for an upcoming game. The same coach even went to the extent of buying the team food before games and ice cream after. As I mentioned earlier, I had one of the coaches as my algebra teacher this year. He's probably one of my favorite teachers at Edgewood and makes math enjoyable to learn. In addition to making algebra an engaging class, he also goes out of his way to build great relationships with his students, players, and colleagues. My sister also wanted me to say something for her, and she said that she has never had this coach as a coach or a teacher, but he went out of his way to make a great relationship with her as well. He goes out of his way to make an effort to get to know all of Edgewood's students better than most any other teacher at the school. I'm truly grateful for the amazing season that all the coaches allowed our team to have. I ask that Brevard Public Schools will reconsider and choose to rehire both coaches for the next year, as it will be in great benefit to both the students and athletic teams. Thank you.
Thanks, Danica. Linda Hall.
good evening. Can you hear me okay? All right, my name is Linda Hall. I am the mother of 2 adult children that both attended Brevard County schools from kindergarten up to through college. And as a mother for my 2 children, I advocated for them. I advocated from 1st through 12th grade. I got to know their teachers by name and their principals, and some of their teachers are still my friends today. So I'm here advocating tonight for my 6 grandchildren that are in Brevard Public Schools. I'm asking you to please prayerfully consider removing this mask mandate and letting us as our children, our adult children, decide what is best for each individual family. I have a 1st grader that has never seen his teacher's face. He's almost finished with 1st grade. He's never seen her smile. He's never seen that reassuring look on, oh, you did really a good job. I remember my 1st grade teacher's face. I remember her smiling. I remember feeling comforted sometimes by that reassuring look. I have a 5th grade grandchild that is doing e-learning from home because she couldn't understand her teacher when she was in school from August through Christmas. My straight A grandchild was making D's in 5th grade math because she couldn't understand the teacher. I have a 7th grade grandchild that started a new school wearing his mask. All he saw were eyes. He did not know one soul when he started school. And that's what he has continued to see, are just eyes. He's never seen one teacher's face. Same with my 10th grade grandchild. So I'm just asking you as a mother, a grandmother, a human being, please lift this mask mandate. Let it be a personal choice for our children and their parents. They are our gifts from God, just as your children are to you. Let us protect them and love them. Let them please breathe fresh air and not have to run around outside in the heat with a mask on. I stood outside proudly holding my sign for an hour tonight. I almost was ready to pass out when I came in here. I can't even imagine running around on the playground and then being, feeling like you are in trouble all the time if you're touching your mask or moving your mask. Once you do touch your mask, and we all do, it's hazardous waste. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thomas Jefferson.
Hello? Okay. I came to the school board meeting today to discuss this board's outright discrimination, bias, cancel culture, and blatant attempts to cancel our free speech. I have been attending these board meetings for some time and have been a victim of all of these things. In one of my first meetings, I used words such as evil and sinners, and I was told that I cannot use these words. This is a prime example of this board's flagrant attempts to try to cancel a person's free speech, a clear violation of the First Amendment of these United States Constitution. At the last meeting that I attended with our group of patriots, my son was told to go to hell by one of the LGBTQ attendees.
Sir, please keep it clean.
Nothing was said to this person by any board member. However, when my son responded by saying, "No, you are going to hell,"
Sir,
my
please
son
keep it
was
clean.
asked to leave the meeting, showing your clear bias, cancel culture, and discrimination by this whole board, every person on it. This board is constantly trying to go against the right side while blatantly allowing the left side to do anything and say anything they want. I would like to give you some clear examples of how this board is biased and discriminates against the right side Christian patriots while clearly allowing the left side antichrist people to do and say whatever they want. My sons attend Melbourne High School, where the principal is clearly giving my son, who is a clean-cut Christian and junior ROTC student, out-of-school suspension for wearing shirts that have images such as stand for the flag, kneel for the fallen, with a soldier kneeling in front of a cross, with a rifle stacked on the ground with the fallen soldier's helmet resting on top of the rifle, or shirts that say Glock or Sig Sauer on them. Not one of these shirts is in violation of any school board district policy. However, kids in the left side are allowed to have pink, purple, green, red hair, wear dog collars, boys dress as girls in girls' clothing, run around wearing gay pride shirts and clothing. And all of these things are actually in the school board policy as violations, and these kids are not getting out of school suspension or having to change their clothes or shave their heads. These are constantly being allowed to break the rules without having any change in their actions or suffering any consequences, while our Christian conservative patriot kids are being told to change their shirts, turn them inside out, and given out-of-school suspension. This is absolute clear discrimination and bias and cancel culture by this school board, and we will not stand for this school board stomping on our rights and our freedoms anymore.
Thank you, sir. All right, as Alex approaches, our next three speakers will be Amber Beef, Alex Chernyshov, and Alana Chernyshov. Alex? Speak again, just let me see.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, turn it like, there you go, that
There
might.
we go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to start off by thanking the school board for allowing our children to attend school during these trying times. We're very thankful that as parents, we were allowed to make that decision for our children to attend school in person. Thank you. My name is Alex Wybush, and I live in Satellite Beach with my wife and two young kids. Both attend school. One of my children has special needs. In particular, he has a hard time communicating with people. In particular, reading their social cues. Being able to read someone's facial expressions and hearing the subtle difference in tone is critical to his learning. In short, teachers and other students wearing a mask is detrimental to his learning. At this time, my son is not required to wear a mask. He chooses not to wear a mask. Next year, he might be required depending on how this board decides to implement or change the current policy. But he won't be wearing a mask because I will not allow it. It's not your choice, it's ours. I respectfully request the board do the right thing, the courageous thing, by leading the way and making masking optional for students and teachers. It should be a personal choice for teachers, students, and parents. Please do the right thing. Please. Stop the mask mandate in Brevard County schools now. Add it to the agenda. Vote on it tonight. I strongly believe that forcing children to wear a mask is child abuse. Please don't abuse my child. Please lead the way and represent the community, or the people of this community. If you cannot, I respectfully ask that each of you step down from your positions so board members that truly represent the community can be appointed. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Amber? I think I butchered your last name, Amber. What is it?
It's Chiefy.
Okay, thank you. Amber Chiefy.
My name is Amber Chiefy. I grew up in Brevard County. Graduated from Cocoa Beach High School. Dr. Mullins, you were my algebra teacher. I remember when you served as our FCA sponsor. I remember hanging out in your classroom before school. I remember you still used overheads and vis-a-vis markers to teach.
He still does.
Oh, right, I believe it. I was part of the IB program at Cocoa Beach, and I loved my high school experience. A large part because of the relationships with teachers like you. But because I was in the IB program, I was the nerd. I was proud of it. Wasn't involved in sports, but I was involved in chorus and drama and all the other nerdy stuff that I did in school. And it was the relationships that I built with teachers that got me through high school. High school's hard. High school's really hard. Middle school's even harder. But it's the influence of great teachers that make it doable. And because of those relationships, I grew up and went to UCF and became a teacher myself. I taught in Brevard County for several years at the middle school and high school and elementary level. And now I have 2 kids in Brevard County Public Schools, one of them at Edgewood. She's in 8th grade. She's been there for 2 years, and she's had the privilege of playing basketball with these coaches. And now they've been removed, and I'm asking that you look into it because the relationships that these guys have built with their students and with their players go above and beyond. I have been a teacher. I've had relationships with great teachers, and I know what it takes to go above and beyond and be an incredible influence in the life of a child. And these guys have done that. And they've been removed for reasons that just don't make any sense, for rules that are not rules. And if they need to be held accountable, then I'm all for that. I believe in that strongly because I believe that's part of serving with excellence. But everybody needs to be involved in that process. It can't be a unilateral decision because the basketball coach that served my child, the only one that built a relationship with her after 2 years in school, the only one at that school that she feels comfortable talking to and that she feels comfortable coming out of her shell because she's incredibly introverted is this coach. If you believe in those kinds of teachers, if those are the kind of teachers and coaches that you want in Brevard County Public Schools and you want them to stay, then you need to back them. You need to support them when they're treated unfairly and when they're removed without cause. Please look into the coach's situation at Edgewood High School. I beg you, on behalf of my kids and all the kids at Edgewood and in Brevard County Public Schools. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Amber. Did Alexander and Alana make it in? Alexander? All right. Alana, going once, going twice. All right, Craig. Craig Dumas. After Craig will be Amelia and then Juan Calero.
Amelia's my daughter. She won't be here. She was
Okay.
overwhelmed by all the.
Okay, thanks. Welcome, Craig.
Thank you. I'm here to speak on behalf of the 2 former Edgewood junior senior high school basketball coaches who've been recently terminated. My name's Craig Dumas, and I'm the Deputy Director for Safety and Mission Assurance, a contractor on NASA's Kennedy Space Center. I'm also a girls basketball volunteer coach for the past 3 years, and as we taught our girls, you need to compete. And I'm not sure if this is going to do any good, but I must compete and plead my case on behalf of my coaches and my friends. And I couldn't call those 2 gentlemen my friends if I didn't stand up here and compete for them now, speak on their behalf. I'm also a 20-year Air Force combat veteran, but most importantly, I spent my last 4 years on active duty as the Inspector General for the 45th Space Wing, where I accomplished numerous investigations of fraud, waste, and abuse across Patrick Air Force Base and Cape Canaveral. And I dealt with facts. And I can assure you the facts in this case don't add up. The comments made to senior girls at the end of the banquet, if they were so offensive, why was my daughter not interviewed, and why was I, her father, not interviewed? If coaching guidance was so clear regarding banquets and activities, then why was the guidance updated after this event? Be sure to look closely at the changes from the August 2019 manual to the March 2021 manual in Section 3, banquets. And if the Indian bobblehead wasn't to be used, then why was guidance from the school that said using the word Indians and its likeliness could still be used throughout the end of the school year? I'm telling you, the facts don't add up, and this is part of the reason these gentlemen were removed. It doesn't add up. Finally, and most importantly, I'm a parent. I'm a father. And as I said, my daughter's a senior at Edgewood, has been in the basketball program for 6 years. And this past year has been her best year in the program. These coaches lifted this program from the ashes, from nothing. The girls' basketball program was a laughingstock, and I know I watched from the stands and watched all the kids cry for many years, which is why I eventually volunteered. I couldn't sit by and watch anymore. And now they compete, and everyone puts in the hard work. Look, I know Florida's a right to work and an at-will state, which means you can be hired for almost any reason. You can be fired for any reason, legal reason they see fit. And Edgewood administration has the right to hire and fire as they see fit. But I'm telling you, they got it wrong. They got it wrong in this case. These men are positive influences, and they need your help. I'm asking you, the school board, to compete. I'm asking you to do what we tell these students to do every day, compete. Go in there and fight for these coaches. Do your best and let them save the coaches. I asked you for a moment because my daughter was up next, and she's not here. She left. But I could tell you that I wasn't going to cry. If I may, because my daughter was up next, the two coaches aren't here, and they're watching. I know because I've been texting them. And I could say, as a coach, all you can hope for is that you make a positive influence in these children's lives. Look around. They're here. They're standing up for these coaches and these two individuals. Yeah. Hear them, okay? Let's save this. Please look into this. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. Juan Calero. Juan? And after Juan, we have Damani Hosey and Teresa Clayton, who may be outside. Do we have, everybody's in? Okay. Damani Hosey, is Damani Hosey in as well? In the back? Okay, super, thank you. I just want to make sure you guys weren't outside and not hearing us. I apologize, Juan, whenever you're ready.
Good evening. My name's Juan Calero. I'm an assistant coach. I coach with Coach Craig and the two individuals in question tonight. And I don't have anything prepared, and I couldn't say, things that you just heard tonight. Some of the speakers speak tonight. They're speaking from the heart, and I know these two guys. I've known one of the coaches last year when he started coaching girls varsity basketball, and I've known the other coach for many years at work, at church, coaching at Upward, and throughout the years. And I'm here just to talk about their character and the importance in how they mentor these girls from the basketball team that I'm aware of. These I've seen it firsthand. I've seen the hours that they spent. I've seen the way that they talk to the girls, and I've seen. I mean, there's tons of. There must be at least 20, 25 basketball girls here from middle school all the way to varsity, and the relationship they have with these two individuals is just incredible, and I don't even know how to put it into words. But I've heard of what was the accusations and why they were let go. And again, I want to repeat that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. I was there at the banquet that night. It was a great banquet, very inspirational for the girls, for the coaches, for the parents, and I still can't believe that they were let go. And something needs to be done. Someone needs to look into this. Personally, I'm one of the coaches. I'm with them. I've been with them almost every practice day from 6:30 in the morning, and then when JV and varsity, it was in the afternoon. And I was never once asked about the incident. I was never approached. You would think that one of the coaches would have at least been asked about the incident. And but no one, I think there needs to be some transparency, because I haven't even heard of what the accusations are or why they were let go. So I'm glad that the Edgewood family showed up tonight. I think it's important that we let you know how much these two individuals mean to everybody's lives. And if they're let go, then it's going to really affect a lot of lives. It's going to affect a lot of our adult lives and a lot of the children's lives that they mentor and lead. So thanks for hearing me out. Thanks.
Thank you, Juan. Damani. Did I get that name correct? Okay.
Good evening, board.
Hold on just one second. Can we maybe up that mic just a bit so we can hear you okay? Sorry.
As I was saying, my name is Damani Hosey. I'm a father of 3 children in Brevard. Two of them are virtual and one of them is in person. I'm also a family physician. I've been practicing in Brevard for 15 years now, treating children and adults. I stand today in support of the mask mandate. I believe that we need to continue that mandate until our children at least have access to immunization, and also until the spread of the COVID pandemic in this community is more mitigated and there's fewer people becoming infected, fewer people dying from this disease. Unfortunately, I have the experience of being in the room with people who have COVID, who are short of breath, who are coughing, who are have symptoms from this disease. And the only thing that has protected me and kept me safe is the mask that I wear and the mask on the face of my patients. I, unfortunately, have never contracted COVID, and I believe that mask played a pivotal role in the prevention of in protecting myself. Masks work. COVID-19 is a respiratory pathogen. It needs access to respiratory tissue to cause infection. It needs access to our mouths, to our noses, to our respiratory tracts, our throats. Masks can be an effective barrier to statistically preventing that virus from gaining access to our respiratory tissues. There have been multiple studies that have shown that masks are effective in preventing transmission between people and also effective at preventing transmission in the community. Children can get COVID, unfortunately, but fortunately, they have milder symptoms. Unfortunately, though, we don't know what the long-term effects are of COVID in children, even those that have milder symptoms. There are situations where children in this country have had severe inflammatory reactions to COVID, and many of them have been hospitalized, and there unfortunately have been some deaths. Over 3,000 children in this country have been afflicted with multi-system inflammatory syndrome, which is a reaction to COVID-19. We still have many unvaccinated people in this community. We still have community spread going on in Brevard. We still, unfortunately, have people dying from this disease on a weekly, often daily basis. I believe that is because of that, we need to do the best we can to protect our children, and the most effective tool that we have right now are masks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Teresa Clayton.
Come on, Mullins, get over there.
Getting your exercise tonight, Dr. Mullins. You don't need to run.
Hi. On the subject of critical race theory, Biden wants 4 more years added to schooling. That's 4 more years to indoctrinate our young, impressionable minds with critical race theory, that our children should feel bad about the color of skin they were born with, something nobody can control, being taught they have white privilege. The 1619 Project lie is now being taught all over the country, teaching our children that America is a racist country and always has been. They're teaching our kids to hate America. Their agenda is to create activists for the left and to divide us. They want to dismantle the family unit. God forbid Florida turns blue. That's what our children will be learning. Dems turning education into activism. It's indoctrination, not education anymore. These policies are doing nothing but dividing us and creating racial division. The working class is being manipulated. Elites are using racial division to maintain power. Ask yourself, if this country was systemically racist, why are millions of black and brown people from all over the world coming here? And everyone that thinks it's racist, ask yourself, why aren't they leaving? They are not, because America is not a racist country, it's a lie. Our tax money, paid by we the people, is being used to fund these trillion-dollar bills. Billions are going to school unions. The school unions then donate back to the Democratic Party campaigns. See how that works? We are paying for Democrats' campaigns. On mask mandates, the Biden administration lost me on two major policies. One, releasing hundreds of thousands of prisoners because of COVID. So if masks work, why not just give them all a mask and keep them locked up? The biggest one is we have a nation that is locked down, but a border that is wide open. It defies all logic. Thousands coming in with COVID, being released onto buses and planes, headed all over the country. Dems are just fine with that. Open borders to change the electorate forever. That's more important to the left than US citizens contracting COVID and or dying from it. The Biden administration is exploiting the coronavirus to push their radical agenda. Just wait until there are 40 or 50 kids in a classroom instead of 25. Our classrooms will be overcrowded. The migrants can't speak English. We'll be holding our kids back. There will be 13 and 14-year-olds in second and third grade classes. The left always says, believe in the science. Well, there are only two genders, biological boys and biological girls. That's it. Our children going through puberty, their hormones changing, they are already confused about what's happening to their bodies. Their brains and their frontal lobe don't fully develop until age 21. The left is trying to make the transgender thing normal. Once these children start getting hormonal injections and irreversible surgeries, the damage is done. Maybe down the road when they grow up, they would regret it, but it'll be too late. The left wants God out of our country in any and all way possible, pushing abortions, LGBTQ.
Thanks, Teresa. Have a great evening.
Can I finish the last sentence like the man before me did? He finished this last sentence. Can I please finish my
He
last
finished the sentence he was in the midst of. Yeah, but then he was done.
Okay, well, America is the greatest country on earth, and that's why everyone all over the world wants to come here. I love her and will fight for her every day, and I hope more people will join in the fight to take her back.
Thanks, Teresa.
Yes, I agree.
All right, that concludes this evening's speakers. Get back to our all right. Does any board member have anything else they would like to report at this time for board reports? Mr. Susan.
I got a couple of things. The first one is that we had spoken inside of the workshop about the redistricting and some of the issues that we had before. Not asking you guys to take any action right now, but I've provided you guys with not only each one of our districts inside of a map, but then also the areas that I was talking about in question that may be an opportunity for us to fix and clean up. As you guys know, part of me putting this forward was because as we're knocking indoors and stuff like that, there's a little bit of voter confusion. Sometimes when you have one neighborhood that has one school board member and then right across the street there's another member. So I provided inside of here each one of those that I could show you that is in there, and I just was going to ask the board members if at the next board meeting we might be able to discuss the process and engaging Mr. Gibbs in seeing what the process would be like for us to fix those, or follow the county commission, which is another opportunity for us to as a redistricting. Many other counties inside of our state also follow the county commission as far as a mirror, and it helps with district voters to understand that they're in District 4, and everything else. But in the event that I can't get you guys to get to that point, I would love the opportunity to clean up some of these little areas that I think we could do better for our voters in. I also provided the voters by district. Ms. Jenkins, you had mentioned before that there was the number of them. And as you can see, I have 99,000, and Ms. Belford, you have 86. So just some numbers I think we can work on. The censuses don't come out until September, but the county is working on their redistricting right now, and I think there's an opportunity. And I didn't mean to ask you guys to vote on it, discuss it. I just wanted to give it to you and then bring it back at the next board meeting for discussion to see if we could engage Mr. Gibbs on putting together a timeline. Oh, no.
So your request is simply to add redistricting as a discussion point at the next board meeting?
And give you guys enough time to take a look at it if that's something that you guys wish to further engage.
Okay.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Yeah. How much does this cost the district to participate in?
It's our time to go about it. I think the main question when you start looking at how much does it cost is it the right thing that we're doing for our voters? And when we have voter confusion in some areas, I think it's something that we should take a look at. I don't think.
I'm only asking because at the workshop that was brought up, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, we can take a look at how much it's going to cost, but from what I understand, the redistricting can be as easy as us meeting, discussing some of the points, and making a motion to Mr. Gibbs to put it together. Now, we don't have to initiate, it's our discussion, our process, so how much we want to do or how little we want to do is up to us, and I would love, and if we can find that out for you, Ms. Jenkins, that'd be good, but I just wanted to present you guys with the district maps, the total number of voters, and all of that stuff.
All
Is that okay with everybody else?
So, yeah, you don't have to have quorum to put something on for discussion at all, Mr. Susan. So, but I would encourage board members to reach out to Mr. Gibbs with any, preliminary information that they would like to have going into that discussion.
Can I ask, do we have a preliminary information from the commissioners? Because you said they're about to redraw their lines. Do we have something?
They don't. Yeah, so I called former Speaker of the House, Chris Foley, who's chairing it, and asked him where you guys are at inside the process. And he said that they will not receive the census data until September, but they have to make a decision by the end of the year per the off-year decision-making. And he said what they're trying to do is get everything else loaded in so that once they get that, they can make a decision. So you guys, honestly, one of my passions was comparative politics and political science in high school or in college. This bothers me. It just bothers me that we have these meandered districts, and it's been something that I knew would come up, and I'd like to have the opportunity to try to fix it. Okay? We good?
Anyone else have any additional questions on that for tonight? Okay, Mr. Susan, you had said you had a couple things.
Yeah, so I just wanted to follow up on the Melbourne High renaming piece. Just that we received the official 3rd Street Bridge, documentation. And Dr. Mullins had said that because it was initiated by, and the process is so that the group that initiated it may pull out, but the actual initiation of the voting would continue to take place. Just wanted everybody that was out there that was trying to figure out what the next step was. It looks like the district is going to continue with, the renaming process. It takes about an 18-month process that started, and when it gets finished, what I would like to do in the process of the reprocessing, I think we can do better in that policy. So I would like to discuss, even though that's moving forward, grandfathered in, please don't think that I'm trying to stop that piece, but I think that we can do better with that policy, so maybe at the next meeting I'll bring that up. That's all.
Can we just clarify, because that was just a little bit confusing, that we are not moving forward with the renaming, we're moving forward with the process of considering renaming, just for clarity.
Sorry.
It's an 18-month process. There is actually, there is still someone asking for it, and that's why we have to move forward, and it wouldn't ever come for a vote before the board until next spring at the end of the 18 months. To give the public plenty of time to give their input. And I believe there's one more public meeting that will be scheduled for the fall.
Yep. And there was one more, unless anybody else doesn't have another one. So we have, not many people know that yet, but I think it's June 8th that we're kind of convening. Is that known yet?
I think it's June 8th.
Pam, is that when we're convening? So many of the individuals that are out there that are looking for direction on masks, that's what the time that we're able to bring together the DOH and all of the people that was the follow-up from the previous meeting. And I'll look forward to seeing if we can't make motions on the mandates at that point. That's it. At that meeting on June 8th. Okay?
Anyone else have anything else? All right, Dr. Mullins, do you have anything more for us this evening? All right, there being no further business, this meeting is now adjourned.